सदाशिव समारंभाम
सदाशिव समारंभाम
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यंताम
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यंताम
वंदे गुरु परंपराम
वंदे गुरु परंपराम
वसुदेव सुतं देवम
वसुदेव सुतं देवम
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम
देवकी परमानंदम
देवकी परमानंदम
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम।
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम।
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम अभ्यासात्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानाभ्यासात्
ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
ज्ञानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
त्यागात् शान्ति अनन्तरम्।
त्यागः शान्तिरनन्तरम्।
हरि ओम। So we are on second chapter, and we'll almost, there is a segue here. We saw the first part of the second chapter with Bhagwan. The chapter name is Sankhya Yoga, and Sankhya Yoga means basically Gyan Yoga. They are synonym. Sankhya Yoga is Gyan Yoga. But as I see that in that's old time, which is correct even today. But what I see from modern point of view and my own profession and the today's world, everything is data. The right data you have, and you can derive the right conclusion. So that's it. That's the Sankhya means also. But here Sankhya. So what I think, that's my understanding, is that Bhagwan has given enough data to Arjuna, and one of the fundamental data was that there is Atma, there is Anatma. And based on that, he explained from Shlok 11 to 30, what is the nature of Atma, what is the nature of Anatma. And if you understand that, you have the Gyan. It's like that, Bhagavan is saying. So enough data is provided to you, enough explain what is the nature of Atma, what are attributes of Atma, enough data given to Arjuna and to all of us, not just Arjuna. So we know what, and that is Gyan. So once we understand, I am not this Deh, I am that Atma, or people call it consciousness in English term, but if I understand it, I am not Deh, I am Atma, that is Gyan. That's it. That was the first part, 11 to 30. So we complete. Last time we read some of the shlok which Bhagavan is trying to very, very fundamentally bringing Arjuna to the karma. So one of the shlok we saw that Bhagavan says that even if you don't accept your Atma, suppose, I mean, because he says Atma is there and then body dies. And Bhagavan says, even if you don't accept that, okay, Arjuna, one thing is clear, that you need to fulfill your duty. You are a Kshatriya, and this is a Yuddha. So Kshatriya's duty is to participate in Yuddha. That you can do. And that's why he brought the term Swadharma. So we can, very briefly, we can say Bhagavan said that Dharma Yuddha is Swadharma. Okay, it is Dharma Yuddha. And you never ask for that. You're not fighting. There was a reason we are entering into this. And they are on the Dharma side. So Dharma Yuddha is, so your Swadharma is Dharma Yuddha, or Dharma Yuddha is your Swadharma. That's what we saw up to Shlok number 35, 36. And then we last time we saw Shlok number 38. We'll just revisit that and then move forward. So Bhagavan is bringing the essentials of Karma Yogi. And we next few Shlok he's going to, and then third chapter, the whole third chapter is Karma Yoga. But right now Bhagavan is just giving some essentials of Karma Yoga. Last time we saw Bhagavan says that, we'll read 38. But just as we discussed last time, we ended that even Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that na punyam na papam, na saukhyam na dukkham, na mantro na tirtha, na veda na yagya, aham bhojanam neva bhojyam na bhokta, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. So he is saying that these pair of opposites will be there. So in Nirvana Shatkam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, na punyam na papam, neither I accept pap or not punya. Na bhojyam na bhokta, neither I am the consumer nor the thing consumed. So all these opposites, I am not that. And in the middle, that is samatvam, that is shivoham, that is my roop, chidanand, always happy. So I was in the children class yesterday, Gita class, and we were discussing about samatvam. Samatvam means, and we discussed, children have their own logic. So I was giving them explanation like swing. And that's what our mood is. That's what our mind does. That it goes this side or it goes this side. So when it stops in the middle, and that is samatvam. And that's what Bhagavan is telling Arjuna also that. So that 38 shlok, we'll read that. And the word Bhagavan has used some. And some will be used in Bhagavad Gita many times going forward also. So again, he is bringing some means equanimity. That swing is in the normal position, not swinging both sides. And we give example of pendulum also. So that's what last time we talked about. So, and Bhagavan has trying to explain to Arjun, we saw in the beginning, he said spiritually he explained what is the Atma. Then reasoning he gave to Arjun that because you're a Kshatriya, you have to fight. And then he explained to Arjun, if you don't fight, you will be known as running away from the battlefield, and there'll be infamy in Arjun's name or your family's name if you don't fight. So emotionally he touched. And then traditionally, customized that you are a Kshatriya, you're a king. So all way. And the reason Bhagavan did, and we all do in our life whenever situation comes. All 4 or 5 ways we try to explain ourselves, or when we read or when we talk to someone. This is the way. And the reason is because Arjun miscalculated the whole situation based on his own logic. That, oh, what is the point? This is there's hinsa and all those things. So Bhagwan actually negated his miscalculation by 4 ways explaining. Spiritually, we call it philosophy, darshan, psychologically, in fact, temporally, like the worldwide, or topically. All ways he's explained to Arjun that you miscalculated the whole situation. And now it looks like Arjun is getting into that, what is the right calculation? And that's what. So let's read 38 shlok and then we move forward. 38 shlok of second chapter, Sankhya Yoga. Sukha dukhe same kratva.
Sukha dukhe same kritva.
Labha labhau jaya jayau.
Labha labhau jaya jayau.
Tato yuddhaya yujjasva.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Naivam papam avapsyasi.
नैवं पापम वाप्स्यसि. यदि तुझे स्वर्ग तथा राज्य की इच्छा न हो तो भी सुख दुख लाभ हानि और जय पराजय को समान समझकर उसके उपरांत युद्ध के लिए तैयार हो. इस प्रकार युद्ध करने से तू पाप को नहीं प्राप्त होगा.
As I said, like now Bhagwan is bringing a traditional, okay, चलो तेरे को नहीं भी करना है तो राज्य भी नहीं चाहिए तो भी ऐसे कर्तव्य. So Naveen bhai, you want to read English part? Shivaji is not there today.
Okay. Treating alike pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat, then get ready for battle. Thus you will not incur sin.
Yeah, so Bhagwan is saying that's the word he used, same. So in sukh and dukh, because there is no guarantee in this world, nobody can guarantee that you will always get sukh and you will always be dukhi. Sukh means the favorable and dukh means unfavorable. So there's no guarantee. Bhagwan is also not guaranteed. Same thing, labha labh. You may have the gain, you may have the loss. Not always you will be lost, not always gain. Jaya jaya, you may win or you may lose. So there is no guarantee. So if there is no guarantee, what should you do? You create your mind, and guarantee in this is mind. I mean, everything is in mind. Like sukh, dukh, labh, jay, ये सब mind में और कहीं नहीं है. We feel that. So Bhagavan is saying there is no guarantee. So what you should do, Arjun, samay kartva. Consider them, keep yourself, consider them as equal. It's very like, if you listen to someone, oh, how do we consider sukh, dukh equal? It's all mind, equanimity of mind. Sukh aayega, okay. Dukh aayega, okay, I accept it. And that's what, so that is samay kartva, considering them as equal. It's a very high note, high philosophical statement Bhagavan is giving, but that is required. So Dayanandji used to say a very nice quote, Dayanand Saraswati ji. He wrote somewhere that success is, like here is labha, labho, jaya, jaya, all are success. Sukh is success, labh is success, jaya is success. So he said success is the capacity to face and accept success and failure both. That is success. Very nicely put it. We think success is only success. He said, no, accepting failure is also a success without getting disturbed. The swing doesn't go this side or swing doesn't go this side. Swings remain in the center, the normal position. And that is the real success. Otherwise, we'll get disturbed. So that's what Bhagavan is trying to say to Arjuna. That you consider both as same. Both as said in the mind should be. Then you will not incur the pap. Pap here is not the Puranic pap. Puran में तो बहुत सारे definition है पाप के. You did something wrong, you get the punishment or sin. But Bhagavan is saying that pap in the Bhagavad Gita sense or Vedantic sense is a bandhan, is a bondage. Or not following the dharma. A violation of dharma is pap in Bhagavad Gita sense of Vedanta. Or a bandhan, which stops you from being free, feel free. That's pap, like something which binds me. So Bhagavan is saying, don't worry. If you go with this mindset, then you will not incur pap. Otherwise, kya hoga ki if you win and you keep feeling, oh, I killed my, that's what he started argument. I'm killing my relatives or my friends or my uncle or guru, and then you feel guilt. That is basically pap. You are thinking that I'm doing a dharma. So Bhagavan is saying, no, you don't worry about killing or winning or losing. And that's what this, so Bhagavan brought very like subtle way that Karma Yogi, because which is very important because now we are going to go to Karma Yoga and the whole third chapter, and further also Karma Yoga will be talked for a few more chapters. So karma has that issue, right? Karma is going to produce something, and everything is produced in mind, the impact of that, our reaction. So Bhagavan is preparing Arjuna that don't worry, if you have that equanimity of mind, if you will not incur, you will not be responsible. You means you feel. People still may say, but what do you feel? So, and then in Sanskrit, when Ram Sukhdev ji, in his commentary, he says that पाप में हेतु युद्ध नहीं है. So युद्ध, when we can say that, we think that yuddha is, by doing a yuddha you are committing pap. So Ram Sukhdev ji wrote so very, very key. Yuddha is not the cause of pap, like, or we call it not sin, but the violation of dharma. It is the intention of that there is a desire, that's a swarth, ahankar, which Duryodhan had. You don't have that, Arjuna. So that's logically. You don't have ahankar in this. You don't have your swarth in this. You don't have your selfish motive for this. You don't have a desire for this, even youth. For even the kingdom, we said, okay, we will take 5 villages. But the desire, the swarth, ahankar, everything, ego is from Duryodhan. And that is the reason for this yuddha. So don't worry. Your hetu is not in this, or your motive in this yuddha is not your selfish. So that's the reason you will not incur pap. And so he given nice explanation. And then Bhagavan says that if you are doing kartavya, then anyway you are not doing pap. It's like a cop using or soldier using gun for a reason. So of course, I mean, if you look from distance, somebody is killing someone. But who's what? Who's who? You find out this is a soldier, he's a criminal. But then it is not pap. So kartavya karma mein pap nahi lagta hai. That's what Shastra says, and that's what Bhagwan is saying. So with that was the 38th shlok, and then with that Bhagwan will little bit change the tone. Tone in the sense he'll bring the Karma Yoga into picture. So again, we have to keep in mind some word has used first time, and then rest of the time we have to, Bhagwan will keep focusing on samatvam of the mind, the equanimity. And that's the reason when we say that our shlok, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate. That's the progression. That abhyas with samatvam mind, then gyan with samatvam mind, then dhyan with samatvam mind. Then you reach to a stage where you can say, karma phal doesn't impact me. And that's the shlok says that sukh dukh, everything is a result of some karma and is impacting you. So that's what Bhagwan says. So with that, we'll move to 39 shlok, where Bhagwan is going to introduce a new chapter here. Esha te abhihita sankhe
एषा ते अभिहिता सांख्ये
buddhir yoge tvimam shrunu
बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु
buddhya yukto yaya partha
बुद्धया युक्तो यया पार्थ
karma bandham prahasyasi.
कर्म बंधम प्रहास्यसि। हे पार्थ, यह बुद्धि तेरे लिए ज्ञान योग के विषय में कही गई है, और इसी को अब निष्काम कर्म योग के विषय में सुन कि जिस बुद्धि से युक्त हुआ तू कर्मों के बंधन को अच्छी तरह से नाश करेगा।
This is the wisdom of Sankhya taught to you. Now listen to the wisdom of yoga, endowed with which, O Parth, you shall cast off the bond of action.
Wow. Here is the introduction of Karma Yoga. It's a very fundamental, the premise of Karma Yoga. So Bhagwan says ki so far what I have told you from 11 shlok to 30 is Sankhya Yoga or Gyan Yoga, the same thing. So the buddhi, and when we use Bhagwan says buddhi means we can say knowledge or the comprehension. So by Sankhya, I brought your buddhi to samatvam. So now your buddhi is not confused about ki, am I the body or am I the Atma? You are Atma. And all those shlok, body dies, and then Nanam Chindanti Shastrani, it doesn't affect the Atma. So I explained to you, and you, if you comprehend that, anyone, not Arjun, if we comprehend, we are done. Actually, एक दो कुछ आचार्य लोग बोलते हैं कि अगर आपको समझ में आ गया तो you stop Gita right there. You don't have to go further. That's the ultimate goal of all the teaching is to get that comprehension, that knowledge. And in this sense, it is Atma-Gyan. Atma-Gyan means I am not Deh, I am Atma. And that Atma is Paramatma. Itna simple, sir. Bhagavan keh rahe, that I already explained to you. Teri buddhi ko, your intellect or your wisdom related to the Sankhya, I clarified. So up tak I explained to you. And Sankhya again, we have to say Sankhya means Gyan basically. And so now if you're done, you understood, well and good. So that's why I said कि समाचार ऐसे कि आपको समझ में आ गया तो हो गया काम. But इतना आसान नहीं है. So that's why भगवान realize है कि अर्जुन को ने देखा होगा, समझ तो लिया उसने, लेकिन अभी he still has some questions in mind. So some buddhi means dehi vivek, you have that. That is the assumption. Then Bhagwan is a good teacher. So he said, okay, let me move forward. So he says कि now I'll tell you the same samatvam for buddhi. In Bhagwan word use yoga means karma yoga. Now this when Bhagwan is using yoga means, so Gyan yoga is done. Now I am telling you the same, how to bring buddhi into the equanimity through karma yoga. And that's what the introduction of karma yoga chapter is that. So people say Nishkam Karma Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, बहुत सारे नाम है, but right now it is Bhagwan is yoga. So Bhagwan is saying, listen to that. By listening, he's going to explain. By listening is by understanding. So listening again, we have to go back to that fundamental principle, like Shravanam Nidin, Mannam Nididhyasana. सुन के आपको सोचना है, सोच के फिर उसको imbibe करना है, regurgitate करना है, digest करना है. So suppose you have digest, suppose I explain to you going forward. So what will happen? जैसे हम लोग भी कुछ सुनने जाते हैं तो what will happen if I listen to this? So भगवान is giving right here. जैसे पहले श्लोक में दिया था उन्होंने कहा कि by understanding that, युक्त्वा means by comprehending, or युक्त्वा means you understand that teaching, endowed. You will be endowed with karma bandhan prahasyasi. Prahas means given up. Has means given up. And completely, Bhagavan says, you will just overcome what? Karma bandhan. And that is the key word. So karma, whenever we talk about karma yoga, karma means typically karma has three items, right? Karma, karta, and karma phal. Three things. So there is a doer, there is an action, there is an actor, and there is the result. So when the bandhan Bhagavan, whenever bandhan says in our Shastra, छोटे छोटे भजन में भी बंधन आता है. So bandhan means karma phal bandhan. There is there is no other bondage. Agar if I don't have karma phal, then there is, so हम लोग जैसे for example when we watch some games, if I am watching Steelers game and Steelers is playing and we are winning or losing, our emotions go up and down, and people actually get heart attacks or different emotions, because Steeler is, I am attached to the result, because Steelers is my team and there is a result going of this game which is not in favor of Steelers, I am disturbed, or if it is in favor of Steelers, I am happy, or my own any team, football team or cricket team. But sometimes I watch, I'm watching game, say Dallas Cowboys and Patriots are playing. I'm not part of any of the team. I just enjoy the game. I'm enjoying the football actually. And so because the reason I'm not attached to the result, doesn't matter who wins, because none of the team is my favorite, or any other sports. Then I just watch, enjoy the game, sports. And that's what Bhagavan is saying. ये technique जो है कर्म योग की, the technique will tell you how to just enjoy the action. And of course, the actor can enjoy the action if actor is not looking for the result. And of course, we'll talk about Karma Yoga in detail when chapter comes. A lot of people have the same question. If I'm not looking for the result, then why I would perform the karma? And we will talk about that. It will come. And then Bhagavan is going to explain. Arjuna will also ask, and we all question that. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. You just focus on the teaching. If you imbibe that, he says, buddhya yukta. If you get this teaching, what I'm going to tell you, you will be prahasyasi karma bandhanam. Prahasyasi means you will overcome. Karma bandhanam means karma phal bandhanam. I think we have to supply that word in the middle of karma bandhan. Karma phal bandhanam. Karma doesn't bind. Phal binds. If phal is there, then karma binds. We say karma bind. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. So we'll go to Shlok 40 with that. Neha abhikramanaso asti.
नेहा विक्रम नाशो अस्ति
Pratyavayo na vidyate.
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
Swalpamapyasya dharmasya.
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य
Trayato mahato bhayat.
त्रायते महतो भयात्. और इस निष्काम कर्म योग में आरंभ का अर्थात बीज का नाश नहीं है और उल्टा फल रूप दोष भी नहीं होता है. इसलिए इस निष्काम कर्म योग रूप धर्म का थोड़ा भी साधन जन्म मृत्यु रूप महान भय से उद्धार कर देता है.
In this, there is no loss of effort, nor is there production of contrary results. Even very little of this discipline protects one from great fear.
So, भगवान ने इंट्रोडक्शन में बता दिया है कि मैं जो बताने जा रहा हूँ, in this means karma yoga, he is saying, right? Abhikram nasha means the seed. So when you start doing the karma, so karma, whatever intention you're doing, so there is no loss in this. And what Bhagavan is explaining, and he says there is no side effect also. Pratyavaya means side effect. Like we take medicine these days and doctor will give the first thing, what are the side effects? There are no medicine in this world, our doctor friends say that, which doesn't have side effect. Every medicine in this world. Now Bhagwan is saying, ये जो कर्म योग है, जो भगवान समझाएंगे, and then we have to get there. इस कर्म योग में side effect कुछ भी नहीं. And plus you don't lose the karma also. कर्म तो नहीं खत्म होता, but the interest of karta in the karma will not be lost if you follow this principle of karma yoga, which Bhagavan is going to explain. So Bhagavan is saying there is no side effect, and if you follow this samatvam, then you won't lose the interest also in the karma. अभी हमारे साथ majority होता है कि if I keep losing, then I start losing the interest in the karma, and then it becomes a karma, which will come later. So Bhagavan is saying, no, you won't even get to a karma. श्लोक भी आएगा, कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते, that's what Bhagavan says. So he's saying that if you follow this, you will not get into a karma, you will not have any side effect. And he says, स्वल्पम धर्म से, थोड़ा भी अगर इसको साध लिया, पूरा ऐसा नहीं है you're a perfect कर्म योगी. So जन्म मृत्यु रूप महान भय से उद्धार कर देता है. Now see, right now but when he says janma mrityu bhayat, it is not related to karma. But Bhagavan is saying that the biggest fear, which is like mrityu, if you become a karma yogi and we practice the karma yoga the way Bhagavan said, then koi bhi bhay nahi rehta hai. And that's what the trayate bhayat trayate means. You don't have any. See, he said mahata bhay. Mahata means the greatest fear, if you can have. But if you have this attitude, then you won't have any fear anywhere in the life. फिर सबसे ज्यादा fear हमें, we constantly do कर्म, और कर्म में fear रहता है कि कुछ बिगड़ेगा, कुछ पूरा नहीं होगा, और did I do right, did I do wrong, all these things are fear. You will just overcome that. And there are numerous examples we see, हमारे शास्त्र में आते हैं, कहानियों में आते हैं कि people have no problem, like उनको, if somebody is, like for example, there are story, वो Buddha की story, very famous story, Kangulimal. When Buddha was traveling, he used to travel around, and we all know this story, but it's good in the context that reminded the story. And he used to travel around to teach people, and his are 4 noble truths, that there is a suffering, there is a cause of suffering, and there is a remedy, and here's the remedy. And in fact, if you see the remedy, dhyan is the remedy. That's what Buddha says. That's why Buddhist people do dhyan. So he said, don't worry, there will be remedy, there will be suffering. Sansar is suffering. Sansar means fear, anxiety, depression. This is all sansar. We are all in sansar. So absolutely we all are bound by that. But he says there is a reason for that suffering. And the reason is your vasana, your desires, your selfish behavior. Now he said there is a remedy also. So he used to do that. So he was traveling one time. We know the story, but it's good in this context that कैसे भय से उद्धार हो जाता है, ऐसे कर्म योगी का. Buddha is a कर्म योगी, right? Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. It's like that. Buddha is like that. So he was traveling and he went to a village and somebody said, oh, don't go this side. Why? He said, there is a robber lives there, or basically he's a killer. He kills people. If you go there, there's a robber. So what he does that he just robs you and kills you. So just don't even go. Forget about you don't have anything to be robbed. कुछ नहीं, लेकिन मार ही देता है. So Buddha बोले, okay, I'll try. No, don't go. And we know this story. He goes there, and Angulimal is sitting there with his whatever sword or the weapon to kill. And Buddha is approaching him, and Angulimal looks at him, and he's still, Angulimal, hey, don't come here, right? And Buddha kept walking. Angulimal kind of surprised that people run away from this place. By mistake, if they enter and they just see me and they just run away. And this guy is moving towards me. So he was surprised. He said, did anybody tell you that don't come here? He said, yeah, people told me don't go here because you live here and you kill people. And in spite of that, you are coming to me? He said, yeah. Then Angulimal looked at his eyes and he said, wow, this guy has no fear. And the story goes, Angulimal then says, okay, I'm going to kill you. And Buddha said, yeah, you can kill me, and then a story, you cut this branch first and then you can kill me. And you're very powerful. Yes, cut the branch. He cut the branch. Buddha said, can you just assemble the branch again and make the branch, join the branch? He said, no, that I cannot do. So then he said that you can kill people, but can you give life to people? He said, no. And then he became Shishya. That's the story. But the goal was that the fearlessness. So that's what Bhagwan is saying. Once you're fearless, you are like Buddha. And that's a Karma Yogi. So that's what Bhagwan has given the benefits or the end result of Karma Yoga. And now we get to one shlok where Bhagwan is saying the qualification of a Karma Yoga. A very, very logical teaching, actually, Bhagavad Gita, when we read, very logically it goes. So Bhagwan has defined the essential of Karma Yoga. Then he gave what are you going to achieve out of Karma Yoga if you understand this teaching. That condition is there. Now he is giving the qualification or eligibility for Karma Yogi. So we'll read Shlok number 41, which is maybe today's our topic is Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi
Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi
eke kurunandana
eke hi kurunandana
bahushakha hi anantascha
Baushaka hi nantascha
buddhayo avyavasayinam.
बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम. और हे अर्जुन, इस कल्याण मार्ग में निश्चयात्मक बुद्धि एक ही है और अज्ञानी सकामी पुरुषों की बुद्धियां बहुत भेदों वाली अनंत होती हैं.
Yeah. In this, the intellect is resolute and one-pointed. O Kurunandanan, many branch and endless indeed are the thoughts of the irresolute.
Yeah. So he is saying this is we can read this slok as a qualification of a Karma Yogi. आपको अगर इसमें enter करना है, this is the first qualification. अर्जुन को उन्होंने बता दिया है कि अगर समझना है तो आगे हम लोगों के लिए भी, see if we have to get comprehend Gita teaching, this is the first qualification. So Bhagwan is saying there are a couple of words he's used. So one word he's used, Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi. Vyavasāya is a Sanskrit word, and it is Vyavasāya typically popularly is a profession. कि आपका व्यवसाय क्या ऐसे पूछते हैं भारत में. So व्यवसाय is a profession in one sense, and व्यवसाय is focused effort, also one-pointed focused effort. And of course, I mean, I think that's the reason Vyavasāya they might have used for profession also, because if you're in a profession, and I'm a professional, that means I'm focused on my roles and responsibilities. I'm an engineer or a doctor or a teacher or maybe a bus driver. That's a profession. But I'm completely committed to that profession. So that may be the reason Vyavasāya word is used for profession also. But Vyavasāya means one-pointed. It's fixed on and he says buddhi. So the buddhi means, in this sense, buddhi is a determination or commitment. Buddhi, when we say buddhi knows what I have to do. So Bhagwan is saying that one-pointed and single goal. And what is that goal? One-pointed determination. The only goal is Atma-Gyan. That is the only goal. And in simple terms, we can say the freedom. Freedom from, जो भगवान ने बताया, प्रहास्यसि कर्म बंधनम. पहले श्लोक में प्रहास्यसि means the freedom or overcome from कर्म बंधन. मुझे लगता है that is the only goal all of us have. ये झंझट तो सारा ये है कि मेरे को ये चीजें परेशान करती हैं. I mean, I am happy, all of a sudden कुछ हो गया, अब दुखी हो जाता हूँ. And this is all related to the outside world, because all this outside world is sitting inside me and disturbing me. So my freedom is taken away by the sansar. उसको इसलिए संसार बंधन भी बोलते हैं, bondage. So Bhagwan is saying कि ये जो कर्म योगी है, the first condition is that he or she has a one-pointed determination. Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi on one goal, and that goal is Atma-Gyan, freedom from the bondage. Basically, freedom, everybody wants freedom. आत्मज्ञान तो बहुत हायर वर्ड है, बट फ्रीडम तो सबको चाहिए. एंड इनर फ्रीडम. Inner freedom is not dependent on outside things to be happy. And most of us have the weakness that I am dependent on outside things to be happy. So that's a bondage. I'm dependent on, I'm not free. कोई मुझे नमस्ते करता है या कोई मुझे रिस्पेक्ट देता है या कोई मेरी तारीफ करता है तो मैं खुश होता हूँ. आई एम डिपेंडेंट ऑन समबडी एल्सेस एक्शन कि वो मुझे कुछ देगा तो मैं खुश होऊंगा. That's a bondage. So भगवान says कि पहला अगर आपको कर्म योग उतरना है तो फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज दैट डिसाइड what gives you the freedom or what, and that Atma-Gyan is, or Brahma-Gyan we say, or self-realization, got many words. That is the only thing going to provide you the freedom, and that should be your goal, and that is the goal of Karma Yogi. That's what Bhagavan is saying. And now he says जो जिनका ऐसा नहीं है, the next word he Vyavasāyī नाम, those who have, they're loose, I mean they don't know what they're doing, and their buddhi is like the word he has used, Anantash, and Ananta and Bahushaka. Bahushaka means many branched. Their goal in life is also like many branched. They are not clear what they want to do. And in the next 3-4 shlokas, he's going to tell about that. And endless thought process. Because I'm not clear, my goal is not clear. And it is very, very simple, like in modern terms also. If your goal is not clear, you'll never achieve anywhere. So you'll be confused, ye karu, kya karu, like that. So Bhagavan says you first decide what you want. And in the spiritual term, Atma-Gyan, but in temporal term or worldly term, yeah, I want freedom. Everybody wants. Even if that's what Bhagavan ने अगर उनको पहले भी option दी कि तेरे को चलो ये नहीं समझ में आता है तो in worldly sense also युद्ध करना है. युद्ध करना means free mind. Same चीज हमारे लिए कि हमें आत्मज्ञान नहीं चाहिए तो freedom तो सबको चाहिए. तो भगवान says कि freedom चाहिए, then you have to have that Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi. And if you're not there, so you decide what you want. एक आदमी था, he was traveling in train, and that's what happens. Most of us, we don't know what is my destination, and that's the goal, right? So this guy is traveling in the train, and somebody said कि भाई train में travel करते हो तो, or maybe the flight, whatever, boarding card है. So you have to keep it in a safe place. You should not lose it, because during the travel, the ticket collector will come, or ticket checker, and you have to show your ticket, right? Or boarding card. So he said, okay. So he was very conscious about that, the boarding card or ticket. But somehow when the ticket checker came, this guy started looking and he didn't find it. He said, यार बहुत जगह ढूंढा मिला नहीं. The ticket checker, oh, without ticket you are traveling, there will be penalty. He said, no, I bought the ticket. I kept it very carefully because I knew that somebody told me here, warned me. So, but वो मिल नहीं रहा है. So then he was like kind of nervous. The ticket collector thought, okay, this guy looks like a reasonable guy. So he said, okay, it's okay. I understand you might have lost, but that's fine. He said, no, that's not fine. He said, what's the problem? I'm not penalizing you. No, I want to find the ticket. He said, no, I'm okay. I'm telling you, just fine. You can travel. He said, no, if I don't find the ticket, how I'll know where I'm going? The ticket will tell where I'm going. उसमें लिखा हुआ कहाँ जाना है. That is what we all do. We can laugh. This is a joke. But that's, if real life, that's our problem. We don't know where are we going. हम मंदिर भी, अभी अगले 3 श्लोक में आएगा तो भगवान अगले 3 श्लोक में, he is not, we'll read that, he is not saying that everything is wrong, but the way we understand or the way do we things are wrong. Is my understanding wrong? Because my destiny, I'm not clear about my destination, my goal. So first condition of, अभी तो हम ये जैसे भगवान ने पहले बताया, अगर ज्ञान योग समझ में आ गया है 11 to 30 श्लोक, इसलिए हमारे गुरुजी बोलते हैं रोज पढ़ना चाहिए. एंड आई रीड एवरी डे ऑलमोस्ट. कभी कोई मिस हो जाता है कि वो समझ में आ गया तो आगे गीता की जरूरत ही नहीं. वो तो हो गया फिर काम, तो ज्ञान हो गया तो फिर. लेकिन that's what भगवान न्यू. हमने अर्जुन को देखा होगा कि यार इतने बात बन रही है. देन रेस्ट ऑफ द गीता कंटिन्यूड बेस्ड ऑन द कर्म योग टीचिंग. But Bhagavan says first condition is that you are eligible or not. If you are not, and what is the answer? How do you find? That's where आगे भी आएगा कि शास्त्र और गुरु वाक्य और आचार, that is the only way you can find out. If you have a problem, like we do that, right? We go to counselors. University में जाते हैं, कुछ भी करता है, I have to do something. Even any field, there are counselors who will tell you कि based on your aptitude or your score or your choices, this should, a school में, even high schools में, that people come. In fact, I was in camp, DC camp last week, and one of the session we had, it's a Hindu camp for high schoolers basically, because we have a lot of young parents and achievers in professional sense. So we invited them for 1 hour session for helping high school kids to decide the career path. And our Desi people were there. Some are, one lady was a vice president in Pfizer, and another lady was some director in the bank, and some lady was a medical director. We invited a couple of 3-4 those people to talk to kids to figure out what should be their career options is. That's what Bhagavan is saying. If you don't know, figure out. Go to right people, and they'll tell you that what should be your goal. But here it is very clear. Bhagavad Gita पढ़ने से बैठेगा तो ये तो पता ही है कि actually Atma-Gyan is the goal. So I think for स्वाध्याय करने वाले आदमी के लिए, one thing स्वाध्याय करने वाले आदमी को जो रेगुलर करता है उसको ये तो समझ आ गया कि गोल मेरा एक ही है, आत्मज्ञान. So at least we are eligible for the reading. That's what Bhagavan is saying. So we'll read एक श्लोक और पढ़ते हैं, इसके बाद we'll do our meditation. Yeah, so 40-43 go together, and we can discuss this next time, but it's important we just read them. They go together, right? Yam imam pushpitam vacham
यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं
pravadanta vipaschitah
प्रवदन्ति विपिश्चितः
vedvadartah partha
वेदवादरताः पार्थ
नान्यतस्दीति vadinah
नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः
कामानात्मनः स्वर्गपराः
कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा
जन्म कर्म फल प्रदाम
जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां
क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम
क्रिया विशेष बहुलां
भोगेश्वर्य गतिम प्रति.
भोगैश्वर्य गतिं प्रति. और हे अर्जुन, जो सकामी पुरुष केवल फल श्रुति में प्रीति रखने वाले, स्वर्ग को ही परम श्रेष्ठ मानने वाले, इससे बढ़कर और कुछ नहीं है, ऐसे कहने वाले हैं, वे अविवेकी जन जन्म रूप कर्म फल को देने वाली और भोग तथा ऐश्वर्य की प्राप्ति के लिए बहुत सी क्रियाओं के विस्तार वाली इस प्रकार की जिस दिखाऊ शोभा युक्त वाणी को कहते हैं.
The unwise utter flowery speech, rejoicing in the letter of Vedas, O Partha, saying, there is nothing else than this. Obsessed with desires, with heavens as ultimate goal of birth and action, they prescribe many specific rites for attainment of pleasure and power.
Right. So भगवान ने यहाँ बड़ा क्लियर कर दिया है कि जो, and this is not new, this is 5,000 years ago he said that. ऐसा कुछ आज की बात, लेकिन that time also Samaj had the same issue which we today it is further deteriorated, or it is further like it जैसे कहते हैं ना, the degraded also because of many reasons, but the same problem was there. So in summary, what Bhagavan is saying, we'll go word by word. Bhagavan is saying that a lot of people, and typically not only Hindu, every tradition has these things. It's not just Hindu, that we have many practices. Like for example, किसी को पूजा करनी है, किसी को अभिषेक करनी है, कोई तीर्थ यात्रा करता है, कोई हनुमान जी को पसंद करता है, कोई आर्य समाज वाले वो यज्ञ करना चाहता है, कोई सिख समाज है वो सिर्फ भजन ही करना चाहता है. There are many ways, and that's the problem Bhagavan is saying. And then somebody will come and tell you, अरे अगर स्वर्ग means again that freedom. स्वर्ग का जो कल्पना है, there is no physical स्वर्ग. Now we know the science, there is no physical स्वर्ग, but the कल्पना is स्वर्ग को हमने जो use किया है वैकुंठ word. Kuntha means some knots or some restrictions or some obstacles. That is kuntha. जहाँ वैकुंठ में जहाँ कोई obstacle नहीं, कुंठा नहीं. The state of mind where there is no disturbance is स्वर्ग. You don't have to go anywhere to be in the स्वर्ग. So Bhagavan is saying, but there will be people, they'll tell you to do this, then you will get this swarg. So we'll go word by word next time. Vedvadarta. Wo, like they'll say, Vedvadarta means Ved mein jo rituals likhe hue hain. They'll tell you, oh, do this ritual, then you will get. And the word he has used, power and pleasure kahan kiya tha? Pushpitam kamatmanam savananti janma kalpa pradhanam bhogeshwarya gatim prapti. Bhog and Aishwarya. Bhog means the anything we enjoy using the senses, the karmendri. Like eating is a bhog. I enjoy sweet. Oh, sweet is not good for me, but I indulge in sweet or indulge in some intoxication because my tongue is enjoying, or my eyes are enjoying something which is not good for me. And that's sense organ. So that is bhog in terms of the sense organ misused or overused is a bhog. And that is bhog, and then Aishwarya is power. You will be powerful. You will have your possessions. Or just Ravan, Sabhi log, not Ravan. हम लोग भी everybody needs power these days. हम कुछ हमारे साधु सन्यासी भी मिलते हैं कि और वो भी power की बात करते हैं. So Bhagavan is saying that there'll be people, they'll give the reference of Vedas, and he's not saying Ved is wrong. क्या होता है कई बार लोग ये पढ़ते हैं, and a lot of people say Bhagavan is saying Ved is wrong. No. Bhagavan has never said Ved is wrong. It is the people, they are telling you it is in the Vedas. Do this. अगर हम खुद वेद पढ़ें किसी गीता वेद ही है, वेद का ही सार है, तो इसमें कोई वेद में कोई गलत बात नहीं. So it is not about Bhagavan is against Ved. He said the people, people will come, and he said pushpitam vacham, flowery speeches they'll give you, flowery speeches. ये करो तो ये हो जाएगा, and that's what ऐसी speech देके they'll guide you, misguide you, and he'll tell next क्या करना है. We'll see that. But ultimately Krishna तो बोलेंगे कि don't get confused. So that's why he says कि decide the goal, right goal, with guidance with the right people, and then you will not be confused by these people. Even if they come and say do this, you'll say no. I know what is in the Ved, and I'll do exactly what is given by my Acharya Guru. So I'm not confused. So don't get confused by these rights people say in the Vedas. They won't say wrong, but interpretation is wrong. So Bhagavan is saying, once you know your goal, what you want in your life, then you won't be confused by this. And there's a simple example is like, if I'm traveling from Pittsburgh to Miami, and there is a layover in Atlanta, and then there are maybe another flight changes in, say, Tampa. So when I'm traveling, there is a layover for 4 hours or 2 hours. My sight is always on when is the next flight for Miami. I'm not going to sit in Atlanta for 24 hours and forget where I'm going. Of course, there's a 4-hour layover, there's a break, you can eat something, you can do something, but your mind has that, oh, ultimately I have to go to Miami. I'm not going to miss my flight. And that is what Bhagavan is saying. You should be very clear. ये तब बीच में disturbance आएंगे, layover आएगा, वहाँ layover में disturbance होगा, but you have to reach Miami. You know that. So we'll continue next time. Let's do our dhyan. Again, so dhyan is the process that Bhagavan has said in the 6th chapter. And in fact, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, 3rd chapter, which is called Vibhuti Pad, उसमें first सूत्र जो है उसमें भगवान ने this ये जो भगवान ने बताया ना व्यवसायिक का बुद्धि, इस सिंगल पॉइंटेड बुद्धि, उसकी डेफिनेशन दी है. देश बंधः चित्तस्य धारणा means concentration, like focus on one thing, putting your mind thought in one place. Desh means place or object or a thought. That is desh. Bandha, you bind your thought, your mind to one object, one thought, or one place. And that is dharana, according to Yoga Sutra, which is the same thing Bhagavan is saying. Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi. Your buddhi is focused, single pointed, one goal. So right now our goal and ultimate goal is dhyan, which dhyan will help us in this concentration, this focus. So let's do, and we'll continue with next shlok next time. So sit straight. We'll say Om 6 times, and then follow the journey from external to internal, gross to subtle. That's the goal. And when we reach subtle, that's where our mind is fixed on one object, which Patanjali says, Bhagavan Rishi Patanjali says, Desh Bandha Chittasya Dharana. Focusing on one object, one thought, and that's our goal. Slow and shallow breath all the time. So let's keep the focus on tip of nostril and observe the breathing at this time and bring image of Prithvi, because Prithvi is the tattva which we feel through nose, through smell. So bring the image of Prithvi, which is the Bhudevi for us, in the mind, and keep the focus on the tip of the nostril. Now shift focus to the tip of the tongue, and tongue is another jiva, which is one of the Gyanendri, sense organ, which through which we feel the ras. Ras means water or jal. So jal is an Varun Devata for us. Bring the image of jal and keep the focus on the tip of the tongue. And we can feel a little bit of juice when we keep the focus on the tip of the tongue. Now shift focus to the eyes, and through eyes we see the Agni Tattva, which is the Tejas, which is the power, right? So Surya is the Agni Tattva or Diya. We can bring image of Surya and just keep the focus on eyes and bring the image of Bhagavan Surya, which is the Tejas or the source of energy. Now shift focus to skin and feel the Vayu Tattva, which is again for us, it's Vayu is Devta, air. So air is all around us. Only through skin skin is another sense organ, Tvacha. On Tvacha or skin only we feel the air, and for us it is Vayu Devta. So feel the presence of Vayu Devta around us. Now shift focus to the ears, and here we can hear some sound, because sound travels in space, and through ear we know there is a space around us through sound, and we are in the space, and space is the subtlest form of Bhagavan's gross prakriti, which is nature. Space is subtlest, we cannot see space, but that is Bhagavan's grossest manifestation. So keep the focus on ear, we can hear some sound. The goal is not to hear the sound, the goal is to shut down that sound coming from outside. Now by doing this, we are shutting down all the senses which are transacting with the outside world. Now we should feel that I am not those senses, I am not the body, I am not the mind, which is another sixth sense. Beyond mind, there is a buddhi. Buddhi also always working. So I'm not buddhi. I'm not chit, which is the memory store. I'm not ahankar, this identification with the body. I am that Chaitanya Sakshi Atma. That is my Swarup. And that was given from Shlok 11 to 30. So I am that Chaitanya Atma. Now Bhagavan says, once the mind is quiet, you start realizing that I am the Chaitanya Atma. Keep the Brahma Vichar, and that's what Bhagavan says, Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi. One thought, and Patanjali says. So one Brahma Vichar is Gayatri. It's easiest. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. We have to play the meaning of Gayatri Mantra in mind. While playing the meaning of Gayatri Mantra means we are actually meditating on the teaching of all the Shastra, all the way, anything. Gayatri Mantra summarizes all the teaching. Then Bhagavan, मैं आपका ध्यान करता हूँ, I meditate on you, मेरी बुद्धि को आप अपनी ओर ले चलिए. Dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Take my intellect or clean my intellect. Only thing in my intellect is Brahma Vichar or Atma Vichar. That's what Bhagavan says in the Shlok. Vyavasāyātmikā buddhi. Only one thought. And Bhagavan says, Yukta Asit Matpara. Sit in the position as long as possible. The mind wanders, then again, our Rishi suggests that, okay, if you cannot focus, focus on the breathing. Because prana is also Bhagavan's manifestation. But best is to keep the Bhagavan's image in mind. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shri Krishna Lal ki jai. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So we will continue with Karma Yoga teaching next time.